I'm Dan, this channel is Bucket List Fit, and if you're a little bit bigger or taller, or your body shape's a little bit more bulky, doesn't really matter. If you're looking into getting into running, I'm going to give you some tips to help you out. Alright, so we are in the desert of New Mexico. I'm taking it to the other side just to give you a bit of a better view. And today's video, like I said, is to help bigger people, larger people. You don't have to be overweight, you could be really tall. Help you get into running, and really to just shut up all the naysayers, because now I wasn't a huge guy, but when I started running I was 215 pounds. I'm down to like about 185 now, and when I started running I had a lot of preconceived notions about what running was supposed to be like for me. Don't listen to the naysayers. So for the people that say that you're too big, that you need to pick up a different sport, or that running is for only small people or skinny people, or that your body type or body size is not the right type for running, don't listen to them at all, because simply it's not true. If you want something bad enough, you will find a way to get it, and that is true for everything in life. It's definitely true for running. Like I said, I was a little bit bigger, right? I'm 6'3", I was 6'3", 215 pounds, and I got hurt a lot. I slammed my feet when I ran, and I used to get hurt a lot. And I used to think over time, well, maybe I'm just not meant for running. And I'm here to tell you right now, if you're thinking that, that's honestly not true. Everyone is meant for running. Big, small, tall, short, wide, skinny, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter age, young, old. Everyone is meant for running, but everyone will have their own set of challenges that they have to overcome. It's just one of those speed bumps that you had to deal with that maybe someone else doesn't have to deal with, but they have something else to deal with that they're going to have to overcome too to continue going. The first thing you really got to tell yourself and really instill this into yourself is your weight is not an excuse. It can't be an excuse. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Doesn't matter what you think right now. You need to change this thought. It's not an excuse. It's just a speed bump that you can overcome. Because as soon as you start allowing yourself to believe that, you know, it's not your fault, that there's nothing you can do about it, that is when you let that excuse win. So just know that you can overcome this. Many people have overcome it in the past. You just need to focus on a couple other things and make sure you're really diligent about keeping the stress low. So how do we keep the stress low? One of the first things you can do is build slow, all right? So when you're thinking about running in kilometers or miles a week, you need to really make sure that you're slowly building up the running time and distance that you're putting on your legs. Start out by just walking, and then walking to running, and then into running, and then slowly building up. Think about the amount of mileage you're putting on your legs is the amount of stress you're putting on your body, and if you keep that low, then you're gonna give your body time to overcome. So don't think about if your lungs are okay with it, because quite often your lungs will increase at a faster rate than what your body will increase. You need to really make sure you have enough time for your muscles and your tendons and your connective tissue to really build up. Do build up slow. You're not going to have to worry about any of these injuries that a lot of people pick up when they first start running. The second thing that you want to think about is form. Don't have the mindset where whatever form that you have is the form that you're just meant to have. It's really not true. I've changed my form completely. I used to be a horrible heel striker, slamming my feet, low cadence. Now I'm a midfoot striker. I stand nice and tall with a nice little forward lean, and I have a high cadence, and I'm very light landing. And this doesn't happen overnight, but what you can do is slowly change it. So if you just think about a couple things, I would recommend thinking about landing light, having quick feet, and pushing off easy. And if you focus on those three things, you're gonna go a long way to improving your overall run form and lowering the stress on your body. Third thing you can do is change the surface that you're running on. So instead of running on the sidewalks or the pavement of the roads, try to find a nice little trail, or find some grass in a field, or even a track is not too bad of a surface. Now obviously you're not gonna be able to find that type of surface for every one of your runs, but if you're thinking about that all the time, if there is a spot near you that you can run on, I would definitely recommend using that surface to run on, just because you're going to lower that stress just a little bit more, and anything that you can lower is going to go a long way to helping you out. Next thing I'm going to recommend is rest. Now rest, most people know you need a lot of rest, but just focusing on rest as much as possible. So that means taking a day off in between each run, and making sure on your day off you're actually letting your legs rest and recover, making sure you get lots of sleep. Sleep is when you repair all of your muscles. Staying hydrated is another important tip for recovery, because when you're hydrated, your body's able to recover more efficiently. Shoes is another tip, and that's kind of the tips you always see when you're looking up new tips for beginner runners, is go out and get a good pair of shoes. And honestly, it is a really great tip. I know running shoes, especially good running shoes, can cost quite a bit of money, but it goes a long way to have at least a decent pair of shoes. So go to a specialty shoe store and get your feet fitted. Hopefully they have a spot where you can run on a treadmill, and they'll check out how, like, what your running gait is. They'll be able to put you in a type of shoe that's right for you, and then you'll be setting off a lot better off than running in some like old runners that you found in your closet. Strengthening up your other muscles is very important, especially your running muscles. So you can find once or twice a week where you can add in a little strengthening program to help you out. That's going to go such a long way to help increase all of your stability muscles. So when you're landing, it's going to feel like you're landing so much more firm and secure. And if you ever get that feeling where you're like your knees are kind of wobbly and stuff, you definitely need to increase your strength, your overall strength of your lower body and your core. This next tip is my last tip, and that is just to stick with it and understand that setbacks happen. So when I started running, I got shin splints multiple times. I had a stress fracture. I had severely strained a muscle in my foot. I ended up breaking my toe one time on a trail run. Now, I'm not saying these are all normal things. I made a lot of errors when I first started running, and that was the reason why I've had most of these issues. And that's why I am so passionate about running now, is because I've realized that there's a lot of pitfalls that I made that a lot of people make. So I try to get people to avoid them. But even if you do everything right, sometimes you do end up having a setback if it's just a slight strain, or you know, just like you've slowly been beaten down and you got, you know, a sore muscle or something like that. It is normal. It is okay. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to run just because you got hurt once, right? So stick with it, and over time, I mean, you'll bounce back. You can take a couple weeks off and then slowly build up again. And if you keep doing it and you keep being patient, over time you will be running longer and longer. And really, you'll be calling yourself a runner in no time. So stick with it. Even push through the setbacks. Everything is a speed bump. And hopefully you can start running too. And don't let your weight or your size ever hold you back in anything in life. All right? And that's all my tips for today. So hopefully you like this. If you do, subscribe to my channel. This channel is all about running. And thanks a lot for watching, guys.